You ever notice how we keep buying the same characters over and over? Is that just a habit? Or is that just you? What if the characters that you love say something deeper about your personality, your values, and how you see the world? Let's be honest. We all have that character that we keep going back to. For me, it's probably Reverse Flash or Magneto. I don't even have to think about it. If there's a new one out, then I'm probably gonna buy it. But the question is, why that character? Why is he or she your character today? I want to talk about something just a little bit deeper that I really don't hear people talking about like that. And today we're just going to have a little bit of fun with it. Do our favorite characters reflect who we are? Or even more than that, do they shape who we become? Stick around. The patterns we don't always see. Let's start with something simple. Think about the figure that you own the most of. Not really the rarest or the most expensive, just the one figure that you really can't stop collecting. Almost every collector has one, if not more. For some, it might be Wolverine. Doesn't really matter the costume, they grabbing it. For someone else, it's Batman or Deadpool or Luke Skywalker. We joke about it, but there's a reason why that character keeps popping up on our shelf. For some people like me, there might be more than one character that fits this description or thought process. Sometimes our perfect character could be a combination of different characters, and together we like, yeah, that's it right there. My favorites, personally, are always going to be characters that reflect my attitude in real life. I can't really see myself going hard for a character that's going to do things differently than the way I would do them. Reverse Flash is in my top 2. And why is that? I love the Speed Force. I love everything that comes with it. I feel like if I had a choice and I was in the DC multiverse, I would wind up being a speedster. There's only one problem though. The way that they write Barry Allen and Wally West, that's not me at all. The decisions that they make, I would never make. Mental instability aside, I would use my powers more like Eobard. I'd become a paradox. You're not getting rid of me, and I love that. Reverse Flash is petty and he's vindictive. And guess what? So am I. Once you rub me the wrong way, I could hold on to that forever. It could be 10 years later. And trust me, I was waiting for this moment, fam. Yo, you still on that? I ain't never left it. The way we pick characters is personal to us. It's emotional. And it might be more psychological than you think. The psychology behind our favorites. Let's talk about how we bond with fictional characters. There's actually a term for it. And the term is called parasocial relationships. That means we feel connected to people or characters that we've never met before. And no, it's not weird. It's actually human, especially in childhood. Our brain absorbs stories like sponges. The heroes we look up to, the villains we fear, the journeys we watch, they start to influence our sense of self. Psychologists talk about something called narrative identity. Basically, we make sense of who we are by telling ourselves a story. And our favorite characters most of the time play a role in that story. So Magneto was my favorite character in Marvel, bar none. But deeper than just Magneto, I also want to talk about the X-Men. When I came across the X-Men, it wasn't just about the powers that they had. It was also about the hardships that they faced. Mutants being hated and parents giving up on their kids because they were scared of them. Fun little fact, my father went out to get milk when I was about 8 months old. And he must have got lost on the way back because I still haven't seen him. Little 10-year-old me really understood when Jean Grey's parents didn't want her and they just gave her up to Professor X on a whim. When Nightcrawler gets shunned by his own mother because of his skin. I resonated with that. Is that what happened to me? Is that why my father bounced? Little kids can really kick around a lot in their head without you knowing about it. As I got older, I started to feel more like Gambit when I was trying to turn my life around. And I resonated with him hating his past thief lifestyle. Now he wants to make amends. That was me when I first came home. But Magneto, now that was different. When Magneto spoke, I listened. Magneto understood me. And I understood from real young. Magneto was right. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But to me, he was right. Still is. Magneto puts his people first, and there's no going around that. You know where he stands. Unapologetically. That's how I wanted to be. That's the power that I wanted. That's how I wanted people to look up to me. The way they looked up to Magneto. Back then, I didn't have the words for what it was that I was feeling. But when I saw the X-Men, I felt like somebody got it. Character types and what they reflect. Let's break down some of the common heroes that people collect and see what it is that they might represent. Spider-Man. Responsibility. Guilt. Underdog resilience. You probably relate to struggle, perseverance, and doing the right thing, no matter what. Batman, control, trauma, justice. You probably value preparation, justice, and overcoming internal battles. Wolverine, rage, loyalty, solitude. You connect with emotional intensity, and you fight to protect what matters. Deadpool, humor, chaos, deflection. You might use humor as a shield or value not taking life too seriously. Captain America, principle, honor, leadership. You probably believe in something bigger than yourself. When we collect a character over and over again, we're not just drawn to the look. We're drawn to what they represent. Even villains, Magneto, Venom, Loki, they speak to us too. Conflict, rebellion, complexity. And that's one of the reasons a movie is only as good as its villain. We gotta connect with them too. So the question really becomes, is that shelf behind you really a collection, or is it more of a reflection? Collecting an identity. Whenever I buy a figure, especially my core characters, it feels like I'm reconnecting with something that I need. It could be inspiration, it could be strength, it could be hope. For a lot of us, collecting started young, and those early experiences, those characters that we loved, they left an imprint. It's not just nostalgia. It's identity. Maybe you was a quiet kid and you saw yourself in Peter Parker. Maybe you felt like an outsider and you felt yourself gravitating towards the X-Men. Maybe you didn't have a role model, but you found one in Steve Rogers. Over time, these characters become part of your personal mythology. And every figure that you pick up is like a little reminder of who it is that you are, or who it is that you want to be. Characters grow with us. What's really interesting is that our favorite characters can change or evolve. You might start off with Spider-Man, but then you start gravitating towards Daredevil or Moon Knight as life gets more complicated. That shift right there says something about you too. When I was younger, I really liked Spider-Man. I mean, who didn't? As a kid, I think we take things at face value and we don't really think about things too deep. As I started to get older though, I started to realize that I really didn't have too much in common with Peter Parker. I would never be a struggling photographer if I had powers. I wouldn't be out saving the world knowing that I owe the landlord rent money. And to be honest with you, I'm more Punisher than I am Daredevil. I believe what Frank Castle's talking about. Daredevil puts them down, they get right back up. Punisher puts them down, they stay down. If I was Batman, I would have been body Joker. Sucks for the sales, but it is what it is. That's me, and that's how I think, and that's how I feel. Because just like we grow, our connection to certain stories and certain characters grows too. What we need, what we admire, what we're struggling with, it all evolves as we move forward. A 10-year-old Clever really couldn't appreciate the Punisher, but a 43-year-old Clever definitely could. Even within the same character, there are a bunch of different layers that make up that character. Comic book Spider-Man is way different than MCU Spider-Man. Animated series Batman is way different than Arkham Batman. But if you're drawn to all the versions, then that says something too. It means that that character has become symbolic to you in some type of way. Why does that matter? This isn't just an overthought collector theory either. There's value in recognizing why it is that you're drawn to a character in the first place. Because once you understand that, you can start to understand your collection as a story about you. We're not just building a shelf. We're building a reflection of our values, our struggles, and our aspirations. And that right there is what makes collecting so powerful when it comes with intention. It's not just nostalgia. It's empowerment. So now it's your turn. Who's your character? The one you buy without hesitation, the one you've always loved, maybe before you even knew why. What do they say about you? Because this hobby right here is not just about shelf space. It's also about self space. Until next time. Peace.